You ever get so fed up with a neighbor that you daydream about turning your front lawn into a medieval catapult launch site? Well, I didn't go quite that far. I just photobombed her daughter's cow selfies with a manure loader. And what came next? Karen didn't just flip out. She filed a noise complaint. And I filed a $75,000 defamation suit. Buckle up. This one's a ride. So here's how it all started. I live on a 40-acre farm outside a quiet little town that doesn't see much excitement, unless you count crop rotation. I've got cows, chickens, 2 goats that hate me, and 1 John Deere loader that's older than most of the interns at TikTok. My nearest neighbor is, well, Karen, you already know the type, HOA energy, despite there being no HOA. She's got a Pinterest-perfect lawn, a miniature designer dog, and a complaint form already printed before anything even happens. She moved in about 8 months ago, into a McMansion that butts up against the far end of my pasture. At first, I thought we'd get along, but then she started sending passive-aggressive notes. Your rooster is very spirited at 6:20 a.m. Could you kindly not use your tractor during my daughter's remote yoga sessions? The smell from your cows is impacting my herbal tea meditation. Fast forward to last month, her teenage daughter starts showing up at the edge of my property. She's clearly an influencer in training, taking dramatic selfies with my cows in the background, like she's auditioning for Cowchella. Now, I don't mind people admiring my livestock, but this girl was climbing onto fence posts, tossing flower crowns on the cows, and even bringing props. The cows weren't amused, and neither was I. So one bright Saturday morning, I saw her out there again. Perfect golden hour. Camera set up, spinning in slow motion like she was in a shampoo commercial. That's when I thought, why not have a little fun? I cranked up the manure loader, rolled slowly into frame, and gave her the cheesiest wave I could muster. I didn't dump anything, just made sure. I was in every single photo. Sunglasses, straw hat. Full dad mode. She ran off in horror. I thought it was harmless fun, but Karen decided I'd harassed her minor child and created a hostile environment. The next week, a formal noise complaint showed up in my mailbox, and that's when things started to spiral. I wish I could say I laughed off the noise complaint and went back to my peaceful farm life. But Karen, she wasn't done. She wasn't just angry. I think she was inspired. That manure loader photobomb flipped a switch in her head. Suddenly, I wasn't just the guy next door with cows. I was public enemy number 1. 3 days after the complaint landed in my mailbox, I got a visit from a sheriff's deputy. Not for anything criminal, mind you, but to serve documentation regarding a civil violation. Apparently, Karen had filed a municipal noise grievance, citing my industrial machinery operating outside of allowable hours. What was I doing? Spreading hay, with a tractor that hums quieter than a lawnmower. Still, it escalated fast. She told the county clerk I was intentionally weaponizing farm equipment to intimidate her daughter. Let me repeat that. Weaponizing farm equipment. The deputy, to his credit, clearly didn't want to be involved. He actually apologized. Sorry, man. Gotta follow protocol. She's been calling the station nonstop. I told him the full story. From the flower-crowned cows to the manure loader photobomb. He chuckled and said, honestly, sounds like something I'd do. But here's where it got serious. Later that night, Karen went online. Not just Facebook either. She hit the local Nextdoor group, the town's community bulletin board, and even tagged our mayor in a rant on Twitter. She called me a threatening male figure, accused me of stalking her daughter, and claimed I had dangerous intentions with heavy machinery. She painted me as some deranged, backwoods lunatic lurking behind hay bales with binoculars and a bulldozer. I'd ignored a lot from Karen. The snide notes, the judging glances, even the noise complaint. But this? She crossed a line. What she posted wasn't just gossip, it was public defamation. She'd named me, posted my farm's address. She even uploaded blurred screenshots of her daughter's photos with captions like, "This man has been harassing us for weeks." Within hours, my business page, where I sell organic produce and dairy, was flooded with one-star reviews from accounts that had never set foot on my land. That's when I called my lawyer. He looked at the screenshots, the complaint, the posts, and said 7 beautiful words. "You've got a solid defamation case." I asked how much it could be worth. He leaned back and replied, "75,000, if not more. She defamed your character and hurt your business." So yeah, Karen tried to bury me with noise complaints, but she just handed me the golden shovel. My lawyer, Mike, is the kind of guy who could recite case law in his sleep and still have time to make sourdough. Very calm, very precise, and very serious about defamation. We sat down and compiled everything. Screenshots of her online accusations, witness statements from 2 other neighbors who, by the way, also find her intolerable, a record of my farm's Yelp and Google reviews, before and after her posts. Mike said, "This isn't just personal slander. This is defamation with intent to harm your livelihood." She made it public. She made it personal. And she made it expensive. By the end of the day, a cease and desist letter was drafted and ready to go. Certified mail, full legal weight behind it. We even added a draft of the $75,000 defamation suit, just to show we weren't bluffing. And yes, we sent a copy to her husband's law firm, too. You see, Karen likes to name-drop her husband as an attorney. But from what I can tell, the guy specializes in estate planning and hasn't seen a courtroom since law school. The letter hit her mailbox that Friday. By Saturday morning, she was pacing her driveway on the phone, pacing like she was waiting for an Amazon return that never came. She looked rattled, angry. Her daughter didn't even come out to take selfies that weekend. Tragic. Then came the messages. First, a direct message to my farm's Facebook page. We could have handled this like neighbors. This is harassment. Then a second one. I'm contacting the HOA. Let me remind you, we don't have an HOA. A day later, a new post popped up on Nextdoor. Only this time, she didn't name me. It was vague, passive-aggressive, classic Karen. Some people think bullying with legal threats is acceptable. Our community deserves better. What she didn't realize is that by backing down online, she was already halfway to a settlement. Mike and I waited. Then, 2 days later, we got it. An email from her lawyer, not her husband. A real one. It opened with, "Our client is willing to remove all defamatory posts and issue a public apology in exchange for a withdrawal of the pending defamation suit." Mike looked at me and said, "You want the $75,000 or the satisfaction?" I said, "Why not both? But first, let's rewind just a bit." My lawyer and I made one thing clear to Karen's attorney. This wasn't just about a grudge. This was about accountability. She didn't just insult me. She tried to ruin my name, my farm, and the livelihood I built with my own 2 hands. She went online and told people I was a creep with heavy machinery and bad intentions. That kind of lie doesn't just go away with an oops. So we made a deal. Full removal of all posts, reviews, and accusations. A public apology posted on every platform she used to defame me. A private cash settlement, $75,000, paid in full within 30 days. A legally binding agreement that if she ever mentioned me or my farm online again, we'd go to court. She agreed. Her lawyer clearly wanted this to go away fast. I got the impression Karen didn't expect her little tantrum to come with a price tag. Now, about that apology. It went live at 8:03 a.m. on a Monday. I know because I had it bookmarked, popcorn in hand. It read, "I want to sincerely apologize to my neighbor and his family for the comments I made online. My statements were exaggerated, emotionally charged, and not reflective of the truth. I've removed the posts and regret any harm I caused to his business and reputation. I am committed to being a better neighbor moving forward." Translation, I messed around. And now I've found out. The reactions were priceless. One local mom commented, "Wow, didn't expect this. Respect for owning it." Another posted a gif of someone slow clapping. Even better, my business page lit back up with 5-star reviews from people showing support. My favorite? "We don't know you. But anyone who photobombs cow selfies with a manure loader is our kind of farmer. Within a week, things were quiet again. No more complaint letters. No more pacing on the driveway. Just cows, sunrises, and peace. Well, mostly. Last I heard, Karen's daughter switched to selfies at the pumpkin patch on the other side of town. Smart move. So, what did I learn? Sometimes the best revenge is just letting a Karen talk long enough to sue herself into silence. And always, always, take a picture with the manure loader. But enjoying this wild neighbor drama? A bit. Hit that subscribe button for more crazy Karen stories and farm life antics. Drop a like if you've ever had a neighbor like this. And let me know in the comments, what's the weirdest complaint you've ever gotten?